Going. How's your day going, Grant? What's been
It's
going on?
going good, man. Going good. Just bang, 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 you know?
Yeah, I know you're doing a ton of podcasts out there right now. That's awesome. See your face out there more.
Well, it's that on top of everything else, you know? So it's not like that stops. All the other stuff, the
Right.
deals, the negotiating, the partnerships, the kids. My girls are riding bikes this week. So it just goes to show you that back to the obsessed thing, you know, you can either be like do one or two things and try to balance the rest of your life, or you can be obsessed with your life and make sure you cram as much as you can into it
Yeah,
to make
absolutely.
it
And
a
I'm
great life.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a lot of what I want to talk to you about today. And for those of you out there who are living under a rock and don't really know who Grant Cardone is or what his story is, Grant, tell us how you got to where you were today from either your childhood or young adult when you started working. Just how did you get to where you are today? Because I know it didn't just happen overnight.
Dude, I got there by being obsessed with getting out of where I was. And it didn't happen overnight. It's about be obsessed, get obsessed, be obsessed, stay obsessed, and then surround yourself with other people that are maniacs. And be willing to get rid of the people along the way. Like there's no, I know everybody's looking for, hey, when did your life change? Look, it changes every day. So and then you got to add change on top of that. How are you going to get to Mars, right? Well, you're going to build a ship. You're going to probably blow up the first two or three of them. And then you're going to stay focused on the task, get people around you that don't make excuses, get rid of people that do. And then you're going to be like, hey, we're going to Mars, dude, no matter what it takes, what it costs. And you got to keep feeding the dream, you know? And so that's what I've done, dude. I like from 8 years old, like 8 years old, I've just been feeding the beast. And when I quit feeding the beast of my dreams and fantasies, when I quit giving them energy, what happened was I started feeding other demons. And my life went downhill. So by the time I'm 25, I'm broke, I'm wrecked, I'm spiritually bankrupt, I'm physically bankrupt, I hate myself. But I didn't quit, you know, Jared. I just had to start rebuilding from zero.
So, Grant, tell me. I know a little bit about your story, maybe more than some of my listeners out there. I know that you had I guess, a pretty unproductive past, to say the least. And we can go as deep into that as you want to. But I know at one point you had doctors telling you that you'd be good to stay off of different things for about 24 hours. And I don't even know how anybody gets up in the morning with any vision or hope for the future whenever that happens. Tell me how you climbed back from kind of the past that you had to the guy you are today that's cleaned up and obviously much better and accomplishing great things.
I threw myself completely into I basically I did what people say you shouldn't do. Okay, I traded a negative addiction for work. So I have never met a super successful person that somebody hadn't labeled a work addict. Like when work becomes an addiction, dude, we got a problem with labels. You know, I remember my dad died when I was 10 years old. He didn't have a problem with work. He said work is good. He said more work is better. He said lots of work is even better than that. And if you could get a whole bunch of people working together, you could actually accomplish something. Now, fast forward, you know, to somewhere in the last 20 years, work became an addiction. Like, oh my God, you're a work addict, you're a compulsive work person, you're overachiever, you have problems in your life. I'm like, dude, the only problem I got in my life is that you telling me work is a bad thing. The more I work, the better I am. The more I get accomplished, the happier I am. The more I work and the more I accomplish, the better I feel about myself. I'm not trying to fill up a hole. I'm trying to reach my potential. So to answer your question, which was, you know, what went wrong, basically? What went wrong was I quit obsessing I denied the obsessions I have about the greatness that I believed was possible for me. And when I denied my greatness, my potential, my fantasies about the future, right? When I denied that, dude, you're pushing so much energy down. The moment a guy offered me the first freaking stick of weed, and I grabbed it reluctantly and then smoked it. See, I got all this stuff I've been denying, right? I'm like, dude, that was good. Let's do that again. Okay, let's do it again. And then let's pop a pill and let's whatever, right? Let's smoke that and let's smoke this and and then I spent the next 9 years smoking and popping and killing myself. So when I went to the treatment center and said, okay, I got to get rid of the negative obsession, they actually suggested that I should get rid of all obsessions. And I'm like, no, man, there's too much juice there, dude. There's too much life there. And so I grabbed all that and just threw it down into my first career, which was sales.
Tell me, Grant, how obsession is different than motivation in your mind. I know people throw those words around all the time, but you're camping out on obsession constantly in this new book. How is that different than motivation?
Well, motivation is temporary, you know. Obsession keeps you up at night. Motivation doesn't keep you up at night, dude. You know, dude, that's not obsession. That's enthusiasm. You know, obsession is maybe I don't even look enthusiastic. Maybe I go through the entire tone scale from grief to enthusiasm to exuberance but dude, I'm running through walls, bro. Okay. Obsession is when you're out of ammo and you still run at the guy and take him out. Obsession is what the people on the plane, on the flight into the above Pennsylvania did. Said, hey, let's just take the plane down. That's not motivation, dude. We're way, you know, obsession is the thing that makes heroes. Motivation doesn't make a hero.
Right. And the whole reason that I asked that is I think people get those two things way confused.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome question, by the way. All the interviews that I've done about this book, nobody's asked me that question. And I didn't cover it in the book, by the way. And right now that you asked it to me, Jared, I'm like, it is radically different and a great question.
Yeah. And when I look at your life, I know that you haven't always had this kind of success. You didn't pop out of the womb extremely successful, owning a jet and all the things that you do, or all the experience that you know you have now that you can win. So I would think when Grant Cardone's, I'm speaking for you here, but I would think when Grant Cardone wakes up each morning, there's part of you that knows you can win because you've done the preparation, the training, you've been down that path before. Tell me how you dealt with adversity, though, whenever people tried to shut you down as a young adult and you didn't have the experience. You didn't know that you could win. You were dealing with getting off drugs, getting your life cleaned up. How did you deal with that to get on this path of winning without any experience whatsoever in the level of success you have now?
Dude, I remember my first 10 years, so that people understand when you brought up the plane and everything. My first 10 years of my life, I remember being on one plane with my mom, my dad, and my brothers and sisters. We went on one trip in 10 years. Before that, I never been on a trip. We sat in coach. And we flew to Los Angeles and we went to Disneyland. Okay, and every time we looked at something, everything was too expensive. So, and I was tripping out. All I knew was the people that had the money had the control. They decided when we went to the Mickey Mouse Pancake Shop, what rides we could be on, and you know, fast forward to today, you know, I don't stand in line when I go to Disneyland. I'm like, hey, what do I have to pay so I don't have to stand in line? My dad could have probably done that too, but he didn't go to the next level. And for my parents, you know, you made money, you saved money, you protected money. And that was good, but it's not the only solution, okay? What my dad didn't know was, and my dad would be really proud of this book right now. It's #1 at Barnes, #1 at Amazon. He'd be like, man, you're continuing my name. More than writing a book, okay? More than sitting on the jet engine of your own plane. I told my sister this last night. Dad would be proud that his name is continuing because of my work. And, you know, the point of that is my dad stopped. My dad stopped at save the money and let's go on a trip, you know, rather than, hey, you know what? Let's keep building. Let's keep growing. Let's be obsessed with something monster, not just enough. And because my dad was satisfied with enough, he died at 52. I don't, maybe he'd have died at 52 the other way too. But when you scale out, dude, you can actually live longer because you're not doing all the work anymore. Okay? When you start flying on your own plane, you're probably actually going to live a little longer than flying with a bunch of sick people. Particularly today, when you know, we just saw a plane 3 months ago blown out of the sky. It won't be the last one. So how do you get there? I mean, do you get there by showing up every day and not quitting? And how do you show up every day and not quit? You have to become obsessed. This thing has to become like bone marrow, like something like every 80 billion cells in your body. A friend of mine told me recently, you have 80 billion cells in your body. I'm like, bro, that's a lot of cells.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, I need to get them all in coordination with what we're doing here. You know, I think they send messages. Clearly they're communicating with one another. Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're dying over here, guys. These cells, who knows? Maybe there's 8 billion cells. We're out of here, dude. We're done. And there's communication going on. Okay, good. We got to go. These other cells over here, we got to have some more cells. And now we're back at 80 billion again. So there's some communication. If you ever watch ants work together, ants are obsessed, man. They're not motivated. Right? They're obsessed with survival. I'm obsessed with my own survival. Okay. And what does that mean? Survival to me doesn't mean getting by. It means improving the quality of my life so I can continue. I was watching Escobar. I was watching the Narcos movie on Netflix. And I noticed, number one, how much I like the dude. I mean, here's a guy, like he's a serial killer, man. He killed millions of people. He made millions of drug addicts around the world. He was supposedly the seventh richest guy in the world. He was killing 400 policemen a year. And I'm like, why do I like this guy? And the thing I liked about him, bro, is he is so survival. He's so survival, at least for himself, right? And like he has this obsession to expand his empire, and even though it's criminal and dark and black and he was evil, right? I think a lot of good people with good intentions, a lot of church-going people with good intentions that have read the good book and know the verses, they could use some of the guts that Escobar had so that they could actually do good in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
See, I know a lot of good people with good intentions that simply just don't do anything, man. They go to church on Sundays. They spend their 45 minutes there. They got the prayers down, the hymns down. They know the da-da-da. They do this. They throw $1 in the thing and they walk away. What else, man? Dude, what about being obsessed with that every day? I hear about the Muslims that pray 3 times a day. I think they do 3 times a day, maybe 4 or 5 times a day. Dude, I think that's freaking awesome. I got to tell you. Now, now where it's not awesome is where it goes awry, right? It's where the individual goes bad, but that's evil, right? That's just wrong path. It's
taking a positive obsession and applying it the wrong way.
Yeah, me being obsessed with which I have been, by the way. I was obsessed with this chick, okay, like maybe 5 years of my life. I knew the relationship couldn't work. I mean, if you sat me down and asked me, dude, do you think this relationship has any chance at making it? I'd be like, no. But man, I want to go hit her right now. I want to hit it. It's so good when I hit it. So there was something in me, man. It was something in me, that drew me, compelled me to this individual. And I'm going to tell you what I think it was as I look back on it. It was at a time in my life, and I write about this in the book. It was at a time in my life where I had backed off, man, of my obsession with my purposes and with the expansion of my purposes. So I had basically started 3 businesses. They were all running well, and I started acting like Colin Kaepernick. Dude, I don't even play on Sundays, and I act like I'm a star, You know what I'm saying? I'm acting like a star, dude, but I'm not even in the game anymore. I'm basically resting on yesterday's victories. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
And what happens is I get bored, or the rock star that does an hour and a half on stage to 25,000 people, and that's his whole week, man. 1.5 hours. And the rest of the week, he's trying to get back to that thing he experienced in front of the 25,000 people. Problem is, he doesn't have another show for a week. So everything goes awry, okay? For 1.5 hours, he contributed to the planet. And for 166.5 hours, he tried to find it again. Because he doesn't have enough obsessions, enough positive things to throw himself back into. And that's why Michelle, I was so interested in this chick at that period of my life, not because there's something wrong with me, because I wasn't being obsessed with new things that were positive for me. So that energy that energy, that sunlight, that what a photosynthesis, whatever that thing is seeking some target constantly. It's trying to go someplace to find a target. And if it doesn't have something to do, it's like, okay, let's go hit something.
Right. Grant, I know there's a few types of people that you and I would both probably agree on out there. There's negative people that aren't going anywhere. There's positive people that could do a lot of good, but they don't know how to go forward. And then you've got positive and obsessed people. And I know you probably know all of those people just like I do. Everybody, though, needs to recharge. We talked about this a little bit last time, but everybody needs to recharge. And people out there that are positive and obsessed and could be doing a lot more. I'm sorry, positive and don't know how to go forward could be doing a lot more. But to the listener that's hearing this and says, look, man, I'm a positive guy. I work my tail off. I'm burning the fuse at both ends. I want to move forward. Grant keeps talking about being obsessed. May seem silly, but where do they start? Where do you start after being beaten down most of your life to say, look, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and start a new pathway of being obsessed where I can go conquer big
Well, I
things?
think there's two questions there, Jared. Number one, where do I start? Number two, if you feel like you're burning at both ends right now and you got nothing left and you need to recharge. So let's take the recharge first. You know, I would tell the guy that thinks he needs to recharge, first of all, if you can only afford a 3-day vacation, that is not the way to recharge.
Correct.
Oh man, I need a vacation so bad it's going to recharge me. No, it's not. That's not going to recharge you, dude. There's no proof anywhere on the planet that 3 days in a Holiday Inn where breakfast is free and the people you meet will be boring is going to recharge you.
Correct.
In fact, I've been on vacations that were more work than the trip. Was like going on the trip was more work than had I stayed home.
Right.
Now, I if I'm going to do a trip, dude, I'm doing a sick trip, okay? I tell people this all the time. Look, if you can't do a sick trip, I'm talking first class, everywhere, waste money, buy everything you want while you're there, buy the best house, the best villa, have room service, have people cleaning up behind you. If you can't do that trip, don't go on a trip. You got to figure out some other way to chill out because you hadn't got your money right yet. And by the way, nobody's entitled to a vacation. Nobody's entitled, I need some time off. Dude, until you have the money to do the deal right, don't go do the deal. Because that would be a recharge. But if I'm going there, if I'm planning the trip and spending money I don't have, then I go there and spend money I don't have. And then I come home and I got to pay bills for a trip with money I don't have, okay? That's not stress, man. Okay, I mean that's not recharge.
Oh yeah, you're taking a step backwards.
You're gonna be like, dude, that was dumb. No, but what you will do, you won't do that was dumb. You'll say, I deserved that trip. I needed that trip. I couldn't afford that trip, and now you're gonna experience even more stress because you there's no way out now. Okay, can you turn that fan on? The other question about if I don't know where to start, man. Look, you guys, you got to have some big freaking. The reason you're burnt out is either your goals aren't big enough or you're not doing enough. Like every time I feel like I can't do more, what do? My solution is not to take stuff off my plate. My solution is to add something else because I want to disagree with the universe. Okay, I want to when I'm telling myself, man, I can't find time to do this second interview with Jared, right? That's what my office was telling me, Jared. Dude, there's no time. I said, do it right after the G&E show. The reason I did that, by the way, was not for you, Jared. It was for me because I want to disagree with the universe. I want to say, hey, I will make time. I can make time. I refuse to believe that I'm a candle burning. I don't have a fuse, man. Okay, I don't. What is a fuse? A fuse goes into a bomb blows up, firecracker blows up, C4 blows up, and it's over with. You can't reduce me to C4. You cannot reduce me to a firecracker. I'm not a firecracker. A guy called me a firecracker once. He said, "You're quite the firecracker, dude. I'm nuclear weapons. I'm nuclear that never stops. Okay,
He probably didn't even know what you were talking about.
Huh?
I said he probably didn't even know what you were talking about.
Yeah, I don't care, but it was important that I knew what I was talking about because ain't nobody going to call me a firecracker, dude. Okay, the problem, even the best fireworks display you've ever seen, the one over New York, December 31st, it ends, man. I don't end. See, the obsessed person doesn't end, and I can prove it to you. Jesus Christ. We both know his name. I don't know what your religion is, but we know who the dude is, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm a believer.
Because he was obsessed, bro. He's like, hey, bring on the nails, dog. Bring them on. Bring on the sword, baby. Okay, how about a nail in that left foot over there, man? Okay? Yeah, move that over a little bit. See, that's how obsessed that dude was. Hey, by the way, my brother over there was stealing stuff, man. Forgive that guy. Okay?
Right.
And I could use a nice crown, man. Right? Like, he's literally like, come on. So we're still talking about him today, right? Steve Jobs, man, guy was obsessed. I mean, these people are like, I'm not going to die, dude. Walt Disney, he was probably around before you were alive. You know his name. His work lives on. Why? Because he was obsessed. He wasn't motivated. And maybe he was motivated. But more importantly than motivation, which sounds like Tony the Tiger on the front of the Frosted Flakes. Great! Okay? More than being motivated to buy something, dude, I'm freaking obsessed. And
I think you hit a key point earlier. That obsession, if it's not controlled and it's not put into the right avenues, leads to destruction. So
No, Jared. That obsession, when denied, when suppressed, when held down, okay, that's when it goes off in in destructive directions. It's when it's denied, dude, not when it's directed the right way. Everybody's obsessed about something, man. I've never met a human being on planet. You don't need to be a heroin junkie for me to find out you got an addiction about something. There's something, dude, that you do that you like so much, you would do it every day. You know, my daughters are 6 years old and 4 years old, right? They don't know about bicycles yet. I noticed the bicycle. I'm like, hey, my kids aren't digging bicycles. Why? Because they got training wheels on them, and they don't have confidence yet. So in the last 2 days, I took my little 6-year-old, and I got her riding by herself, okay? You know how much she wants to ride that bike right now, dude?
All the time.
Dude, when she wakes up, after school, before she goes to sleep, after the bath, can we get one more ride in? And I'm like, yeah, we can. You know? And who knows, man, maybe she'll become a super bike rider where she can ride on one wheel, the front wheel, stand it up, stop it at 28 miles an hour, turn it around, pull out her Glock and shoot somebody and get a movie deal. That's the only people that are going to get that movie deal are the obsessed, right? Is the ones that are so committed to their trade, whether it's skateboarding, bicycles, movies, acting, producing movies, creating the next act, or going to Mars, dude. It's the obsessed that make all this stuff happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so busy, Grant. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. You're so busy. You're on so many platforms out there. You've got your TV shows, you've got the podcast, you got everything, but you're also known for great energy and hustle. And I know you're going to tell me it's because you're obsessed, but if that's the answer, then that's the answer. But I'd love to know where that comes from every single day of your life, because I haven't seen you turn it off.
Well, it's not about hustle for me. I never think about hustle. Like, I rarely use the word. I even told my staff, I'm like, I don't know why you guys use that word all the time. I never use it. They write articles. I said, guys, I don't talk about hustle. I don't even talk about hard work. I mean, there's one time I talk about hard work when it comes to money. But really, it's not about hustle. It's not about a grind. I don't want to grind, dude. I'd much rather not hustle. I'd like to show up for a deal and the money just fall out of the sky. So for me, for me, a hustle is a decision, right? I got to make a decision to hustle. Obsession, bro, is molecular. It's cellular. It's something like, hey, what am I obsessed about? Okay? And maybe the guy watching this right now, the only thing you're obsessed about right now is looking at pornography. I don't know. Maybe there's some weird deal that you're like, I like looking at male gentles or females or whatever. I don't know what the weird deal is. Everybody's got one, dude. All you got to do is tap in to this thing that you can't explain. You don't know why it's there, right? You don't make a decision to look at it. It just pops up out of nowhere. Like, it raised its head. Hey, let's go fishing. Dude, I love to fish. I'm sleeping at night, man. And I start thinking about, man, I can't wait to bait the hook. Whatever it is, dude. It could be fishing, pornography, skiing. I don't know what it is, man. Grocery shopping, Oreo cookies. Oh, I want an Oreo. See, those things have some life, man. You understand what I'm saying? You don't make a decision to want an Oreo. Right? If something's sitting there that says, Oreo time, man. I want to play poker with the boys this weekend. I want to play Candy Crush, whatever the deal is. So I have figured out, dude, how to like give life. I don't know if it's cells. I don't know if it's spiritual. I don't know if it's purposes. I don't know what it is, but I know there's something going on I can't explain inside of me that doesn't require a decision. It requires permission. Okay? Permission.
Yeah.
I need to give it permission. And I need to feed it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I need people around me saying, bro, do it, dude. I've written 4 programs this year. Last year, I was saying, I'm done writing training programs. This year, I wrote 4, the most I've ever written. 2 books, 2 training programs. And none of that was on a schedule. None of that was planned. But it's in me, bro. It's in me. It's like it's wanting to come out.
So, Grant, I know that kind of off the beaten path here, but I think it all ties in. Great thinkers and great people with, tons of energy and obsession, they have a lot of different traits, but they typically have an incredible morning routine. Just whether that's charging up the batteries, getting ready.
But
for
who
the
told
day,
you that,
take it
dude?
on,
Who
whatever.
told you
What
that?
does your morning look like? How are you getting your
Who
mind
told you
ready for the
that
day?
people have who told you that they have a good morning routine?
Oh, I've read about them, tons of them.
Like what? What? Tell me one guy's got a good morning routine.
It's all how they. Well, of course, you put me on the spot to figure it out here, but they all have an incredible routine to get their mind right and get ready to attack the day.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I hear all that. I hear that. I'm like, yeah, really. But when I'm with you, dude, when I was with that guy, I'm like, bro, you didn't do that this morning. I hear all this. Oh yeah, my morning routine is I get into a bathtub with ice water and I sit in it for 3 minutes and that's what does it. And then I go work out. I'm like, yeah, well, dude, okay, good for you. Okay, you know what I do in the morning? I wake up. I'm pissed off that I had to wake up. First thing I do is go piss. I take a long leak. And I watch how yellow my urine is and realize that I'm dehydrated. I'm so lazy in some areas of my life. I didn't even drink enough water yesterday to keep my urine clean. And then I'm like, I really should go work out today. But my kids are eating freaking pancakes, so you know what? I'm going to go eat some pancakes. And I'm going to have an espresso this morning. And then, dude, I bitch all the way to the office. So
This
what?
is you. You're not talking about somebody else. This is you, Grant Cardone.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about me, man. But this is what I do. My morning ritual includes this. I write my goals down every day. I show up to work almost every day. I show up to work. I do some kind of work every day, no matter what, all right? When I'm down, dude, I put my attention back on where I'm going, not where I am. And so, like, for me, I'm doing my life, right? Like, the fact that a day stops and another one starts, I mean, that's kind of like whatever that is, right? Like, I'm not so much worried about how I start the day as how I keep my day going. How do I keep adding stuff? How do I keep the day rolling? There's parts of the day, bro, where I'm just not productive. I mean, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, for some reason, if I can get from 3 to about 4 o'clock, boom, my energy just jacks up again. But there's some part of that day that I lull out, so I try to make it through that part of the day. I can go to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night sometimes. I could wake up in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning and work. I don't really have, I'm just telling you, I would love to tell you, I wake up same time every day and I try to beat the sun up. This would be the ideal Grant day. I wake up before the sun. I beat the sun up. I wake up. I conquered your ass, boy. I beat you up, son. Okay. Now, I'd like to go down, work out, second thing. 3, I'd like to spend some time with my kids. 4, take a shower. Write my goals down somewhere in between all that. Get to work before everybody else. Work out that day at least twice. Eat healthy, okay? Pray to God. Thank God every time I do something successful. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. That was all about you, brother. But you see, I don't do any of that stuff. But I'd like to. And until I can be that perfect guy, bro, I'm just going to have to be old broken GC.